And now we'll go into lighting. So everything lighting related is a mandatory measure. HERS raters do not verify lighting. This is 100% a building inspector item. Nonetheless, it's important for you to know Title 24 and know what those requirements are. So again, there is no performance or prescriptive options in lighting. All these are mandatory requirements. So as I had stated, all lighting requirements are all mandatory measures. These requirements only apply to hardwired systems. So anything plugged in doesn't count. And then all lighting systems and controls have to be approved for use by the California Energy Commission.
For 2016, the energy standards do require all permanently installed luminaires to be high efficacy. Now in 2013 and previous codes, some lights were required to be high efficacy, others were allowed to be low efficacy if they were attached to or controlled by a dimmer or a vacancy sensor. However, for 2016, all luminaires need to be high efficacy. Now, some examples of permanently installed lighting include lighting that's attached to walls, ceilings, or columns, any track or flexible lighting systems, any lighting that is inside permanently installed cabinets, and any lighting that is attached to the top or bottom of permanently installed cabinets. Lighting that is attached to ceiling fans, lighting integral to exhaust fans, and lighting that is integral to garage door openers if it is designed to be used as general lighting, if it is switched independently from the garage door opener and does not automatically turn off after a predetermined amount of time. If it is used as general lighting, it's not switched separately, and it is on a timer, then it can still be a low efficacy fixture. But if it meets these requirements, then it will need to be high efficacy. Now, certain types of light sources are going to be automatically classified as high efficacy unless they are in a recessed downlight luminaire, or what we more commonly call a can light. All other luminaire types must have a light source or lamp installed in them that at the time of inspection that meets the requirements of reference Joint Appendix JA8. Any luminaires in any of the following categories are automatically classified as high efficacy. So there is, like we've seen with a lot of the other equipment, lighting also needs to be certified by the Energy Commission. It's going to have labeling on the lamps or bulbs that go into the fixtures that indicate that they meet the requirements of JA8. So that's, while it's not a HERS verification, that is something that the local building department is going to be looking for to verify that they are high efficacy. So let's look at that list of those that are automatically classified as high efficacy. Any pin-based linear fluorescent luminaires using electronic ballasts. Any pin-based compact fluorescent luminaires using electronic ballasts. Any pull-start metal halide luminaires. High-pressure sodium luminaires. Luminaires with GU24 sockets other than LEDs. Luminaires with hardwired high-frequency generator and induction lamp. Inseparable SSL luminaires installed outdoors, and inseparable SSL luminaires with colored light sources for decorative lighting purposes. Now we'll look at some examples of luminaires that can be classified as high efficacy if they meet the requirements of JA8. So those would be LED luminaires with integral light sources that are certified to the Energy Commission, screw-based luminaires with JA8 certified lamps, and low voltage pin-based luminaires with JA8 certified lamps. Hardwired night lights cannot consume more than 5 watts of power, and they can be controlled by a standard switch. They do not need to use a vacancy sensor.
Recessed can lights have to be IC and AT rated. IC means insulation contact, AT means airtight, and shall be sealed between the housing and the ceiling to minimize infiltration and exfiltration from the conditioned to unconditioned space. For control equipment specifications, basically all non-high efficacy luminaires have to be on vacancy sensors or dimmers. For vacancy sensors, they have to be manual on, automatic off, and they cannot have an override to the sensor itself. In addition to that, they have to be on a 30-minute max automatic shut off, meaning that after 30 minutes at the most, they'll they'll turn off automatically. For dimmers, they must match the lighting load that is supposed to dim. If they don't, this may result in an early equipment failure. So not all dimmers are the same, and all dimmers should be matched to the exact fixture that's being connected to.
So the following luminaires will be required to have either a dimmer or vacancy sensor. So any luminaire that is installed with a JA8 certified light source should be controlled by either a dimmer or vacancy sensor. Any blank electrical box more than 5 feet above the floor must be controlled by a dimmer, vacancy sensor, or it can be controlled by a fan speed control if it will have a fan installed. Any dimmer or vacancy sensor will not be required on any luminaire located in closets less than 70 square feet or in hallways.
Integrated fan lights must be separately switched, so you have to have one switch for the light and one switch for the fan.
For garages, bathrooms, laundry, and utility rooms, all luminaires must be high efficacy, and at least one luminaire, if there's more than one, at least one of them must be controlled by a vacancy sensor. Now bathrooms used to have a little bit different requirement, so this is a new requirement for bathrooms, but it's the same requirement for the garages, laundry, and utility rooms. So to this point, all the lighting that we've been talking about is interior lighting. So we're going to transition now to outdoor lighting for single family, and then we'll talk about multifamily here in a minute. So for the outdoor lighting, it is going to be, these requirements are applicable to all lighting that is attached to the residence or to other buildings that are on the same lot. So you may have the main house, you may have a guest house, a casita, a detached garage, whatever is on the same permits built at the same time will need to meet these requirements. It will need to be, all lighting will be high efficacy, and it has to be controlled by one of the following automatic control types. We have 4 options to choose from. The first one is a photo control and motion sensor. Second, a photo control and automatic time switch control. Third is an astronomical time clock control that automatically turns the outdoor lighting off during daylight hours. And last is an EMCS that provides the functionality of an astronomical time clock, does not have an override or bypass switch that allows the luminaire to always be on, and is programmed to automatically turn the outdoor lighting off during daylight hours. All of these lights, as far as the regular controls, so they're going to have these automatic controls, but they're all also going to be connected to a standard switch. So lighting must be controlled by a manual on-off switch that cannot override any automatic sensor to the on mode. So inside you're going to have a normal switch, and then outside whatever control it has. If it's got option 1, a photo control and motion sensor, it's only going to come on if it is dark enough outside, and if there was something moving, somebody walks in front of it, then it will automatically turn on if the manual switch is on. If the manual switch is off, then the light will never come on, regardless of what might trigger those automatic controls. Outdoor lighting for multifamily is a little different because it does allow options for the builder. They can use either the residential standards or the non-residential standards depending on where that lighting is located. Regardless of the number of dwelling units, 1 to 3 or 4 or more, it doesn't matter if it is a private patio, an entrance, a balcony, a porch, or a residential parking lot or car park with less than 8 vehicles per site, so it'd be 7 or less. They can use either the res or the non-res standards to comply. Now we're not talking about non-res compliance, so these other 3 items, we're just not even going to talk about them because they have to use the non-res compliance because they would be a non-res project. And then for all other outdoor lighting, those must comply with the residential standards.